You think you know Cape Fear. Forget 1962. Forget Robert Mitchum. Forget De Niro swinging from the bottom of that car like a human wrecking ball. The 2026 version doesn't do any of that. And that's exactly what makes it terrifying. Because the new Max Cady, he doesn't need a weapon. He has something far more dangerous. The law. Let me paint you a picture. A man walks into a fundraising gala, calm, polished, well-dressed. He gives a speech about forgiveness. The crowd loves him. The cameras love him. True crime podcasters are fighting over his story. And the married couple standing in the corner of that room, they're the ones who put him away for 17 years. That's episode 1 of Cape Fear 2026. And that opening sequence tells you everything you need to know about what showrunner Nick Antosca is building here. This isn't a home invasion thriller. This is a legal war. In every version before this one, the conflict was simple. Dangerous man gets out of prison, terrorizes innocent family. Gregory Peck in 62 was the good lawyer. Nick Nolte in 91 was the compromised one. But the Bowdens were always reactive. Victims. Not anymore. Meet Anna and Tom Bowden, Amy Adams, and Patrick Wilson. She's a senior defense attorney and co-director of the Savannah Justice League Project, a nonprofit that exonerates wrongfully convicted people. He's a prosecutor. And 17 years ago, they both had a hand in Max Cady's conviction. Anna was his defense attorney. Tom was the prosecutor. They colluded on a plea deal that gave Cady a life sentence. And then, almost immediately after, Anna left her fiancé Paul for Tom. They built their entire life on top of that case. And now, the case is back. Here's the trigger. Cady's release isn't a prison break. It's not even a legal appeal. It's a suicide note. His former mistress, Amy Brancato, shot herself in the head. And before she did, she left a handwritten confession, claiming she was the one who murdered Cady's pregnant wife back in 2008. Knife marks so deep, they left grooves in the bones. Body dumped in a swamp. Consumed by alligators. And just like that, Max Cady goes from convicted killer to America's most famous exoneree. Now, if you watch this channel, you know we've spent months deep inside Fromville. You know what it means when a place has rules you can't see, but feel at every turn. So let me say this directly to my From family. You think the rules in Fromville are brutal? Wait until you see the rules inside the Savannah Justice League Project. In From, the monsters come at night. In Cape Fear 2026, the monster hosts fundraising events in your nonprofit. He shakes hands with your colleagues. He sits in your office chair. He uses the language of justice to strangle you with it. The horror isn't external. It's systemic. That's the Antosca signature. He's not interested in the jump scare. He's interested in the moment you realize the institution you trusted is the weapon being used against you. Let's talk about Javier Bardem as Max Cady, because this performance is something else entirely. Robert Mitchum was brutality in a suit. De Niro was Old Testament wrath, screaming Bible verses, physically dominating every frame. Bardem, he's quiet. Deeply, deliberately quiet. This Cady suffered permanent neurological damage in prison, a metal plate in his skull after 3 inmates nearly beat him to death. And as a result, he hallucinates. He sees his dead wife, his unborn child. He lives with ghost versions of the people he allegedly didn't kill. So when he gives that gala speech talking about no hard feelings, you're watching a man who has rehearsed every single word for 17 years. He's not angry. He's precise. His primary weapon is plausible deniability. By the end of episode 2, he has a perfect alibi, a media platform, a position inside Anna's own organization, and a traumatized teenager who may or may not have bitten off his own toe while in a drug-induced state of panic. Cady didn't need to touch Zack Bowden. He just needed to put him in a situation where Zack would do it himself. That's the genius and the horror of this character. Now the kids. Zack and Natalie are where this show plugs directly into 2026 anxiety. Zack isn't vulnerable because he's weak. He's vulnerable because he's online. Suspended from school for distributing his ex-girlfriend's photos, socially isolated, drowning in anxiety, he's the perfect target for a predator who knows how to weaponize a person's own psychology. Natalie, Anna's daughter from her ex-fiancé Paul, is carrying her own weight. Substance use, a secret crush, a biological father who was abandoned the moment the Cady case closed. She doesn't know yet that her entire family was built on a lie. When she finds out, that's a storyline that's going to hurt. Okay, this is where we go deep. Episode 3 is called Phantom Sensations, directed by Amanda Marsalis, written by Alan Page Arriaga, and the title is doing triple work. Phantom pain, Zack's missing toe. Phantom grief, Cady's hallucinations of his dead family. And a phantom legal trap. Here's what I believe is coming. Cady is going to formally ask Anna Bowden to represent him in a legal hearing. Think about what that means. If she accepts, she's bound by attorney-client privilege. Every threat he makes in that room, every confession, every detail of what he actually did to Zack, she can't use any of it. She can't tell Tom. She can't go to the police. If she refuses, she alienates Noah Toussaint, her colleague, who already gave Cady a platform at the SJLP. She looks like she's protecting the very system her nonprofit was built to fight. It's a perfect trap. Accept and be silenced. Refuse and be exposed. Meanwhile, Tom invites a coworker home. And given everything we know about Tom's career of prosecuting the poor while protecting the powerful, this coworker likely represents either a professional vulnerability or a personal one. A secret Cady can pull like a thread. And Natalie's new friend? I'll put this plainly. That is not a friend. That is access, physical and digital, right inside the Bowden house. Episode 4 is called Pierced, directed by Reed Morano, written by Tara Shivkumar. The content warnings include suicide references, sexual references, and coarse language. That tells me exactly where this episode is going. Amy Brancato's suicide was not a suicide. Or if it wasn't voluntary. The Bowdens are going to start pulling at that thread, looking at the timeline of Amy's death, the circumstances of that confession, the fact that a handwritten note and a conveniently placed murder weapon secured the release of America's most famous exoneree. Who benefits from that suicide? Who had access to Amy Brancato in the months before her death? And here's my personal theory, the one I want you to push back on in the comments. Cady didn't force her. He convinced her. 17 years of letters, of contact, of patient, intellectual, methodical persuasion. The same way he convinced an entire media ecosystem to love him. The same way he convinced Noah Toussaint to give him a job. He spoke to Amy Brancato the same way he speaks to everyone. Quietly, precisely, over a very long time, until she believed that sacrificing herself was the right thing to do. That's not coercion. That's something far darker. So here's where I need to leave you. Is Max Cady in 2026 a predator hiding behind the language of justice? Or is he a man who is genuinely broken by a system that the Bowdens themselves helped corrupt? And the harder question, if Anna and Tom are guilty, if they did collude, if they did put an innocent man away, then what exactly are they fighting to protect? Drop your theory in the comments. I want to know where you stand on Cady. And if you want to be here every week as we break down all 10 episodes, subscribe to Drama Crypt right now. We're going episode by episode until this thing ends. And trust me, based on what episodes 3 and 4 are setting up, you don't want to be catching up.